It was this really exciting moment in my life. We were getting this new job, this new church family, new city. But while this is happening, as I get the new job, my tongue is like swelling. There's this thing on my tongue. Like it was affecting my speech, it was affecting me being able to eat. They do a biopsy and that's when I find out, 2 weeks into this new job, this new season of life, you have cancer. And my first response was, that's not my story. I have friends, and that's their story. I have family members, and that was their story. This is not how my story goes. My body like shuts down. All of a sudden, my hip, it feels like my hip is broken. It's in so much pain. The next morning, I'm trying to take a shower, and as I get out of the shower, my body just collapsed to the ground, and I'm shaking on the ground, and I just start screaming. And my wife runs over to see what's wrong, and my body's just convulsing. I don't know how to explain it.
Doctors discovered the stage 3 cancer in Jason's tongue was secreting a chemical that was poisoning him from the inside out. His 13-day hospital stay included a trip to the operating room.
So they drill a hole in my hip. Now I'm in a wheelchair with cancer in my mouth. So then they do the first surgery, and they open me up from ear to ear, and they begin to remove half of my lymph nodes. And they remove 20% of my tongue, believing that they'll get all the cancer out. It's over. Now I'm going to that promised land. I'm gonna be the pastor God called me to be. All of a sudden, at the end of June, my tongue, that same thing is on my tongue. I remember the doctor, he looks at it and he says, I don't know what to tell you, but the cancer came back. It came back more aggressive. It's spreading quicker. It's already spread to your neck. It didn't spread this fast last time. This is borderline stage 4 cancer. We have to operate. We're gonna remove most of your tongue. To reconstruct your tongue, we're going to take a chunk of your arm. We're gonna form a tongue in your mouth. Oh, and your leg. We're gonna have to take the skin from your leg. We're gonna put that on your arm. I'm like, what?
So when the doctor was talking,
now I'm a piano player. So he's like, you're not gonna be able to use your arm for a while. I'm a singer and a speaker, and he says, you're not gonna talk the same. He kept talking, and I literally stopped listening, and I just start crying. I felt so unprofessional. I didn't feel like an adult, like a man in that moment, because I'm just sitting in the chair weeping as the doctor is just telling me what's gonna happen. And I'm like, I can't do this.
He looked just like he had gotten out of a warfare, like he just was all bandaged up and everything, and he looked like he had taken a pretty hard hit.
I'm feeling like I need to throw up, but I can't throw up because my tongue is so swollen. I'm laying in the bathroom. I'm laying on the ground, covered in my own waste. And I'm throwing up. I've got mucus pouring out of my neck, blood coming out of my mouth, and I am screaming in pain. All I know is simple math. The pain is too much. The only way to end the pain is to die. I remember typing it in Google, easy ways to die. Easy ways to die, because I'm tired of the pain. So if I'm gonna kill myself, I don't want it to hurt.
He was just in a persistent pain. Usually he can say hi, or usually he can smile, but he couldn't do any of those things.
She begins to do something that she rarely ever does. She begins to sing. She begins to sing over me.
I was fighting like the worry, I was fighting the anxiety, I was fighting the fear that the doctors weren't gonna be right again, but I just kept on choosing to just worship God and knowing that everything was gonna be okay.
And all of a sudden in that moment, I just felt like a presence just enter the room. And it was like if peace was a person, he entered that room in that moment, and I just began to drift off to sleep for the first time in 3 days. I woke up the next day and I started telling myself I'm not going to give up.
It was Easter Sunday. Jason's pastor came to the house beforehand and asked if he was well enough to stand before the church congregation.
And I remember as soon as I walked on the stage, and Pastor Jeff hadn't warned them that I was coming, I remember the whole place stood to their feet, and I felt what it felt like to be a part of a family who will walk with you through any journey in life, a family that will love you even when you've done nothing for them. After many painful surgeries, the cancer came back. I had to do more surgeries, chemotherapy, radiation. They told me you might not sing again. You might not even speak again. But I'm here today. I'm standing, I'm walking, I'm jumping. And now I get to sing and speak about the goodness of God. You are greater than these walls I'm circling. You are stronger than this army that I see. You are bigger. After 2 days, it's got 200,000 views. I'm like, oh, that's so cool. Wow, like people are being blessed by it. A week later, it hits 1 million views. And we're kind of just this feeling of like, wait, what's happening? All of a sudden, we have people from Korea who fly to California to visit our church to see what is happening here. All of a sudden, I got people in Sweden, in Australia, in the UK who are messaging us and saying, hey, I have tongue cancer too. Other people saying, I stopped painting because of my illness. I stopped dancing because of my disease. I stopped singing because the first time I heard myself sing in the shower, I broke down crying because of the tongue cancer. But when I saw your story, I decided I want my own comeback story. I don't like the false narrative that everything, you have to look back at your life and be like, oh, it's okay, because it wasn't okay. What happened to Jesus was not okay. Him being nailed to a cross, being tortured was not okay, but it's about Jesus taking the things in your life that are not okay. They represent death and darkness and despair and hopelessness, and him saying, watch the ultimate comeback. I can redeem it. I can bring what was dead back to life. And now I look back and I see what a comeback. Like, he did it, and he gets all the glory. And the only thing I can do is never give up. This is my song. This is my dare to worship you, even as these walls